Barbara. I know one of the reasons I come to Summit is because of we have two amazing pianists, and you always provide us with some really fresh, interesting piece of music that only you could pick out and play. And thank you so much. Thank you all for joining us this morning in person and on Zoom. Summit is a liberal religious community bound together by shared principles drawn from the world, religions, humanist teachings, nature and science, philosophy, and personal practices. We aspire to be a religion of love and inclusion. The mission of Summit is to commit ourselves to building a more compassionate, just, and sustainable world. If you are new to Unitarian Universalism or to Summit and would like to know more about us, please go to our website, summituu.org. Announcements. We have two announcements. Sandy and Jim Weed. I mean Sandy and Jim. They're not together.
Okay, this is the end of the pledge drive. Thank you so much to those who have pledged. And here is our final thermometer showing that we've reached 90% of our goal with an average pledge of $34.62. And 68 people have, or groups have pledged, pledge units have pledged. We'd still have 12 more that said they would pledge, and we're waiting for their paperwork, and only 8 who haven't responded yet. So before I turn it over to Pam for a few words, we want to thank a number of people. So please be patient. While they're acknowledged, the stewards for this year, Richard Bain, Tom and Neil Biggert, Aaron Brown, Jamie Cleland, Joanne Swanson Cleland, Rin Corbet, Carol Davis, Nancy DeWeese, Janet Dixon, Lisa Garvey, Dan Hand, Alan and Betts McQuaid, Juana Page, Jim Park, Stacy Sasaki, Carol Schnaubelt, Mary Ellen Shue, Pat Summers, and Carolyn Woodbury. Help with refreshments, Joanne and Jamie, and Richard and Judy Bain. Logo design, Eleanor Weed. Testimonials, let me know if I left anyone out. Carol Schnaubelt, Serafina Galante, Debbie Wingard, Chris Rask, Jen Lindum, and Pat Summers. Yeah, thank you all. Do you want to mention the cake? The cake?
Oh, yeah. We want you to join us for some cake and coffee in the salon to celebrate your generosity. Those of you that have turned in a pledge, we were very, very pleased with it. You showed a lot of generosity. We need to fill these seats. And that people have been brainstorming how to do that for probably the last 4 or 5 years or beyond. And it's difficult. But if you have somebody that you know that is a Unitarian in their heart, invite them to come. And we'll try to fill these seats. What else can I say? We're going to have coffee. And we gave our all. And so this is what I wanted to say. We have a very tight budget, and I had hoped that we could meet our goal because our budget is tight. And the Finance Committee and the board gave us, I felt, a reasonable, conservative estimate, of what our needs are. And so I was hoping that we could meet our budget and thrive. We're going to survive. We'll be here. We'll survive. but we want to thrive. And Summit is dear to my heart, and the more you become a part of Summit, it gets more dear to your heart. And so I'd hear people say they, sometimes they should do this or they should do that. It's us. We're it. And so the more you can say us, the stronger we'll get. Okay.
Good morning. It's a nice sunny day today. I'm really glad to see the sunshine again. My name is Jim Weed. I'm chairperson of the Welcoming and Membership Committee, and I'm inviting you to an event later this month known as Getting to Know Us, orientation for newcomers to Summit. Here at this event, you'll learn more about our fellowship and Unitarian Universalism in general. And it's going to happen April 28th at 11:30 a.m. in the Summit Library just right next door. At this event, our Minister Casey, Summit leadership, and members of the Welcoming and Membership Committee will be in attendance. And then to bribe people, there will also be food and beverages available as well. If you're interested in attending this event, you can contact me. You can either do it here at Summit, or my email address is also in the Scene and e-news articles about it. And then lastly, one of the Unitarian Universalist principles is the right of conscience and the use of the democratic process within our congregations and in society at large. At Summit, one way we do this is at our annual meeting, which is coming up this June. At this meeting, members will vote on the budget, board members for the next year, and other important issues that affect the running of the fellowship. If you want to be able to vote and have a say in Summit's direction, which I think everyone is really excited about, you need to be a member for 30 days before the meeting. So if you want to participate in this and are not a member, feel free to contact KC or myself and learn how to become a member. Thank you, and back to you, Jenny.
Thanks, Jim. I guess I realize I forgot to introduce myself to people who might not know me. My name is Jenny Saar. I've been a member here since 2007, and I'm honored to be your service associate today. Okay. We stand upon land that carries the footsteps of many generations of Kumeyaay people, which stretches from the shores of the Pacific Ocean south to Ensenada, east to the sand dunes of the Colorado River and Imperial Valley, and north to Warner Springs Valley. We acknowledge that this fellowship resides on unceded Kumeyaay land and honor the spirit and continuing presence of the Kumeyaay Nation. Let's see. Please stand for the UU hymn. Oh, yeah, that would be a good idea. I'll light the chalice. Okay, you're going to do it. All right, sorry. You read it? Oh, okay. Easy to say. Where is it? I can't see it. I can see a candle, but okay. Oh, that one. Okay. Sorry. Pay attention. This radical love is an obligation on the path for everyone. Take heed. If you can't attain to the love of the Creator, strive for the love of humanity so that you can see the worth of these words. Oh, okay. him. Please stand if you're willing and able.
Love be the spirit of this fellowship. The quest for truth be its sacrament, and service be its prayer. Dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, and to help one another in fellowship. This is our aspiration.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Pastor Casey Marie Pandell. I am the minister here at Summit. Whether it is your first visit or your 5,000th visit, you are whole, you are holy, you are loved, and you are so welcome here. I am a 34-year-old cisgender white woman with purple hair wearing a little bit of a special outfit today. The lavender embroidered dress I'm wearing is a traditional Muslim dress given to me by my aunt and uncle, known as an abaya. So this was something given to me specifically before I moved to San Diego because my folks really wanted to see me represent their faith from the pulpit at least once. So this is very specifically given for a service, and I thought a service on Eid al-Fitr would be a really great time to wear it. Our reading today comes from the Reverend Summer al-Bayati entitled Ramadan Home. Ramadan, you bathe me in your moonlight as I kiss the ground. In gratitude for you, the neighborhood is still. The dreamers lost in the movies in their minds have no knowledge of the dawn, of the sliver of light that gazes towards us, reminding us that hope resides in prayer. My lips drip with the watermelon juices, reddish pink like blood, but sweet like life. Thirst suppressed for the moment as my desert-parched lips cracked from giving up, letting go of desire, of need, over and over again each day, tastes the momentary, moistening miracle provided by you. And each bite tantalizes my tongue, while the fragrance of date palms tickle my nose and fronds awaken yearnings once again. And I and you, beloved, and I and you become one. It is as if the breath of cardamom whispers the name we long to know. Allahu, Allahu, Allahu. And my body returns, my heart remembers, and Ramadan, never forgotten, entices me back to love, and I am home once again. Welcome. Please rise in mind, body, or spirit as you are able to join me in singing hymn 188 in your gray hardback hymnals entitled Come, Come, Whoever You Are.
Written as a round. We will not officially do it as a round, but if somebody knows when to come in with the round, it would be totally appropriate to do that. So 3 times 3. It's short.
Joys and concerns are one of the ways that we get to hold each other in our hearts every week. Our joys and concerns can be emailed to me or texted to me throughout the week, or can be handwritten near the chancel on a Sunday morning. Whether you write one to be shared aloud or not, all are always welcome to light a candle. I have 3 for you today. The first one, I was remiss last week. I sent an email regarding this, but did not make it perfectly clear from the pulpit. Last week, Rachel Lewine, a long-term member of Summit, passed away in her sleep. There is a celebration of life pending that Joanne Swanson is helping take care of. When there's more information, we'll be sure to let you know, but Summit would like to celebrate Rachel's life. And Stacy Sasaki shares that they are saying goodbye to their dog Annabelle, who is going over the Rainbow Bridge tomorrow. She's asking for positive thoughts as she goes into the hospital Tuesday for a heart procedure. Stacy, we hold Annabelle on her journey transitioning over the bridge, and we hold you in our hearts as you go through your procedure on Tuesday. And finally, the journey to becoming a Unitarian Universalist minister is a little long. It can take anywhere from 6 to 12 years to complete from start to finish. That's brand new into full fellowship. As of Friday morning at 11 o'clock, I have reached the halfway point, which means I have been invited into what's called preliminary fellowship. A very short version of what that means is that I can be reverend very, very soon. And it's very much thanks to all of you here in this room and those of you on Zoom that I have had the pleasure since August to serve. Were it not for you, I would not be the minister that showed up on Friday to speak with the committee. So thank you to all of you for helping grow my ministry and allowing me to serve you. When ordination comes, we call it high church because it's like the only time that you do like big church with robes, so it's a big event. Ordination pending. And we know that not all joys and concerns have been shared today, whether spoken or unspoken. We hold them in our hearts. And our Time for All Ages is a story written by Omar Khawaja, illustrated by Leo Antolini, entitled Ilyas and Duck and the Fantastic Festival of Eid al-Fitr. If we have any young or young of heart who would like to join me up front, you are welcome to. Ilyas smiled as he looked to the night sky. A pleasant sight did he see with his eye. There was a sliver of a waxing crescent moon. A blessed Ramadan had come to an end, and Eid al-Fitr festival begins soon. Woohoo! Exclaimed Duck. Duck, Ilyas called out early the next morning. I saw the crescent moon last night. That means today is Eid. It's time to celebrate. And then he dashed through the house and out the front door. Duck returned a short while later carrying a pine tree, a wreath, and a sack of presents. Let's celebrate Eid, said Duck. But those look like Christmas decorations, explained Ilyas. Well, what is Christmas? Questioned Duck. Christmas for our Christian neighbors is a special time of the year, replied Ilyas. It's when carolers sing and sleigh bells ring with a friendly red-nosed reindeer. Oh, I see, responded Duck with enlightenment, and then he bolted out the front door. Duck returned a short while later carrying a menorah, dreidel, and powdered jelly donuts. "Let's celebrate Eid," said Duck. "Oh, but those are Hanukkah decorations," explained Ilyas. "What is Hanukkah?" questioned Duck. "Hanukkah for our Jewish friends is a miraculous festival of lights," replied Ilyas. "It's when families come by and dreidels fly for 8 days and 8 nights." Duck was confused. Duck was curious. Duck had an idea. He thought it was ingenious. "Maybe we can learn about Eid al-Fitr at the Masjid," suggested Duck. Ilyas agreed. So when they climbed into their hot air balloon and sailed into town, and that's where they saw hundreds of people hurrying along and a robin in a bush chirping a song. "Today is Eid," said Ilyas. "Do you know how we can celebrate the day?" "Yes," replied the melodious songbird. "Eid for a Muslim community is a festival of breaking the fast. It is when the first Shawwal brings merriment for all and the joy of Ramadan has passed. To start the day, Salat al-Eid we pray, but before we pray, Zakat al-Fitr we must pay. Friends and family are who we meet, offering mounds of treats for us to eat. Grown-ups smell nice, we wear new clothes. What's in those presents? You soon will know. Some do crafts, some bake for fun, some go to amusement parks. 3, 2, 1. Eid, above all, is a time to be compassionate, a time to be grateful, to help those less fortunate. So we thank Allah for His blessings today, and that's how we complete this most exciting day. "Eid was fun," said Duck. "Can we do it again next year?" "We sure can," replied Ilyas. "Inshallah." The end. Eid Mubarak. And now for our children's recessional, sung to the tune of Do Re Mi. His word. And please rise in mind, body, or spirit as you are able. Barbara is going to lead us in our next hymn, hymn 1032, in your teal soft.
Yes, and you need your hymnal, but you know, I'm going to teach it, so I'm wondering if it'd be better so people can see me if you sit down, if that's okay.
Sure.
Because it's in Arabic, and I got some instruction. If I do it wrong, and anyone speaks Arabic, help me out. So you want to open your teal hymnal. If you don't have one that you can grab, raise your hand, we can get you one. Anyone not have an available hymnal or one that they can share? So it's 1032, and it's phonetically written out. And what I'm going to do with this, because it's in for what for most of us is an unfamiliar language, and it's an unfamiliar tune, is feed it to you bit by bit. So, excuse my voice. I'm going to sing the first phrase, and then I want you all to sing it back to me. Okay, I can do this. All right. Daunanaish. Everyone sing with me. Daunanaish. Be salam. Be salam. And then the same part again. Daunanaish. With me. Daunanaish. And this one goes down. Be aman. Be aman. Dauna, with me, Dauna. And then this one goes down again. Nansish. Nansish. Now this one, look at that little wavy line. You're going to take your voice and go, "Wa-da, la-la, la-la." I'm just letting Dau na na yi. No, 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 no. I'm doing it wrong. Dau na na mood. Dau na na mood. Be salam. Be salam. Thank you, guys. Now we'll try it together. We'll sing this through twice, and it's a prayer. And I think wait, I'll go back to the microphone here. So this is a prayer, and it's in. I actually checked to see what language was spoken in Gaza, and it is Arabic. And there's apparently very different dialects, but I wanted to, you know, just kind of say that I really think this is important. It's a beautiful way that we can send some good into the universe, I think. One more time.
And we will continue along this portion of our service in a time of meditation, continued meditation and prayer, reflection, with words from Jerry Goddard entitled, "Thou who knows the secrets hidden within all hearts." Thou who knows the secrets hidden within all hearts, thou who knows all sorrows and all joy, who knows all hope springing from sources unknown, who knows all loneliness and desolation, all sadness. Thou who knows all this and understands and with everlasting love seeks to lead us into each moment toward beauty and harmony. We would seek thee here this morning. We would bring ourselves just as we are into thy healing and transforming presence. Thou who hears in silence, who sees in darkness and dwells closer than breath, teach us once again thy ways of loving kindness, that we may spread loving kindness from within our souls out into the entire world. Communicate to us once again thy peace, that we may spread peace from within our souls out into the entire world. Spirit of life, we feel like strangers even to ourselves at times. Help us once again to feel thy steady patience at work within us, that we may spread patience from within our souls out into the entire world. And now let us gather at the river of life and wonder that flows through all souls, and let us bring together all the unspoken messages of our hearts into a moment of shared silence. In the name and the presence of compassion and hope, may it be, and amen. I was probably about 18 or 19 the year that my aunt came home around Christmas time. A beautiful white cotton cloth with silver flowers embroidered on it, wrapped tenderly and lovingly around her head. My cousin watched her quietly for a few moments as my aunt talked about having enjoyed prayer at the mosque that morning before she asked, "When were you planning on telling us you converted?" See, my whole life up to that point, my aunt had been Catholic, staunchly so. My uncle, an immigrant from Bangladesh, had always been Muslim. But my cousin had noticed my aunt had not just been participating occasionally like she had done for most of our lives, but wholeheartedly embracing Muslim practices over the few months preceding this moment. Seeing her donning her equally lovely shalwar kameez was a whole new ballgame for us. And over the last 15 or so years, that family has blended very well some of the Muslim traditions my uncle brings with our Western ones. And to be perfectly honest, I always look forward to the festivities when we celebrate with the family. Celebrations that once just included my uncle now boast my uncle's parents, truly affectionately Grandma and Grandpa, as well as my uncle's younger brother and his wife. It also includes a plethora of aunties, uncles, and babies by proxy who we get to celebrate these holidays with. These traditions have become so important to us that I have been known to cancel or rearrange my own plans just to make sure I can attend. And Eid al-Fitr is probably my favorite of the year. I know it means there's a big family dinner on the horizon. And last year, when giving options for attending a meeting that included travel, I remember looking at that particular Friday on my calendar with a huge grin and saying, "Oh no, it's Eid al-Fitr, I am not available." But it wasn't until recently that I understood that I was only experiencing a very small portion of that holy day. I even told my aunt yesterday, as I talked through this sermon with her, that I found myself struggling to really share such a special time. With roughly 1 million Muslims in the state of California alone, and the Islamic Center of Orange County, one of the largest Muslim communities in the entire nation, I am almost a little baffled about how much I actually know about Islam, and how tough I have been finding it to encapsulate this holy time without sounding like an encyclopedia. But here's my heartfelt effort anyway. To understand Eid, one must first understand Ramadan, because it is impossible to have one without the other. In case you are unfamiliar, Ramadan is a period of fasting that lasts in the range of 29 to 30 days. Since the Islamic calendar follows the lunar cycle, Ramadan, and therefore Eid, do not always fall on the same day every year. Indeed, the actual time of breaking one's daily fast, as well as the celebration of Eid, are not quite the same for anyone, even in a given geographic area. Much of this particular faith practice isn't confined simply by day or night, but the actual time of the rising and setting of the sun during the 9th month of the Islamic lunar calendar. I recently saw my aunt watching the clock, ushering my uncle to have a seat and grab a date, which is the customary food with which to break fast, because, Milan, we break fast at 7:37, let's go. Much of this holy month is quite to the minute. Exactly what makes Ramadan so holy is that it celebrates the gift of the Quran, which is said to have been given to the world during this month. And as such, Ramadan encompasses 3 of the 5 pillars of the Islamic faith throughout this holy month alone. Daily prayers are a regular practice for many Muslims, and certainly throughout the month of Ramadan, of deep spiritual reflection and contemplation. Eid itself boasts a number of prayers in gratitude for the previous 30 days. Throughout the month, healthy Muslims are required to abstain from food and drink, yes, that includes water, from sunup to sundown. It is a means of reflection, contemplation, and solidarity with those who are less fortunate. Those who cannot fast are to donate a modest fee, known as fidya, for every day with which they cannot participate. And most critically is the obligatory zakat, a small donation made to help support those in need. And zakat should be paid prior to Eid, as it traditionally goes to help the intended recipients celebrate the day. Of course, with any tradition, the level of participation is really up to the individual. As I mentioned, not everyone is healthy enough to fast, for example, or able to, and concessions are made. Children are not expected to fast or pay zakat until they reach puberty, but are encouraged to experience the act of fasting so that they may become accustomed to the practice before they really dive into it. Pregnant folks and the terminally ill are also not required to fast, but are expected to attend prayers and contribute zakat. My aunt, a kidney donor, lamented last week that she cannot participate in fasting since donating. I assured her that Allah knows her heart, and that is more than sufficient. But just about everyone celebrates Eid, no matter the circumstances surrounding one's level of participation, Eid is a major holiday of celebration, and not one that seeks to celebrate the end of the fasting, but one that shares gratitude for the opportunity to have done some really wonderful, deep, reflective soul work over the previous month. Depending where on the world you are located, the celebration can last 1 to 3 days with prayers throughout the day. Some Muslims will attend mosque at least once in the day, and most will enjoy their family time, including the meal I mentioned a bit ago, and particularly the children. According to my former Islam professor, Dr. Saeed Riswan, my son's always the one counting the days to Eid because he knows that's when he gets a gift. Family time is cherished, and some of the foods eaten together at this time are sort of special occasion foods. For my uncle's family, there's always halal goat, halal denoting meat prepared according to Muslim law. And it's highly likely, in addition to her regular cooking, Grandma will make one of my favorite desserts. Shirkurma, a sweet vermicelli dessert somewhat similar to rice pudding, made with milk, sugar, dates, and other nuts. We could say that in terms of how Eid is celebrated, it is similar to the celebratory pieces of Christmas, but the Christmas without Jesus, like the secular version I and many of us in this room have celebrated. We tend to be deliberately charitable during the holiday season, and we spend time working to pick the perfect gifts for the children in our lives to enjoy, and we relish the opportunity to gather in love and celebration with our loved ones. But to call Christmas and Eid al-Fitr the same would be a mistake, because there is no Unitarian Universalist equivalent to Ramadan or Eid. There is nothing that we do in our faith that requires the welcomed suspension of comfort, the depth of reflection, or the spiritual exploration of Ramadan. I wondered while writing this if I could truly capture in my own words how deeply meaningful participation in this practice is. Ramadan is not seen as a sacrifice. On the contrary, it is a month that most Muslims look forward to and enthusiastically participate in. Even TikTok this year had a flurry of positive Ramadan content to choose from the sharing of reflections, to Muslims sharing how non-Muslims could support their journey, to Muslim American comedians riffing on celebrating Ramadan in a cross-cultural context, like running into a friend at McDonald's after fasting should have begun and trying to talk their way out of being caught. But still, surprise, without a frame of reference, the task of effectively sharing this time is something of a Herculean effort when it is not one's own personal experience. So I sought out the words of one who really could. The Reverend Summer Al-Bayeti, whose words made up today's reading, is a Unitarian Universalist minister of Iraqi descent and a colleague of wonderful faith and beauty of expression. And I would like to give her the opportunity to share her holy month with us with the following words. Ramadan is a time of going deeper into a spiritual oasis, like entering a cave for a few hours while I fast from bodily nourishment. It is an invitation to pause for a whole month while I find spiritual awakening by studying the Quran more deeply and performing embodiment prayers 5 times a day. It becomes a holy retreat from the mundane, even in the midst of the ordinary. For 30 days, I fill my spiritual needs as if in great hunger for the divine spirit, and hopefully I emerge from the cave transformed. This holy experience is healing. This sacred time is an abundant act of love. And this is what I seek each year during this most blessed of months, so I can answer the call of the divine spirit. What if I were to find spiritual nourishment by entering whatever doors open up to the divine on a daily basis? What if each day I awakened and began it in theological reflection, or praising the name of the divine each morning and evening? Who would I become? For those of us who maybe cannot fathom the commitment of 30 days of fasting because it is so far removed from our own contexts, Reverend Summer offers words of explanation that have very little to do with the fast itself. I think that might be one thing that non-Muslims get caught up on: the act of fasting with little thought or consideration to what it means to partake in such a time. I could never have found the words to explain near as eloquently or meaningfully as Reverend Summer does. Likening the practice to a spiritual oasis is powerful imagery. Her hunger for foregoing physical nourishment in order to unlock the hunger for the spiritual kind. And knowing the practice is one of an abundance of love that helps prepare her to answer the call of spirit, the call of ministry, the rest of the year. I, as of this moment, have no basis for understanding such a deep, intentional spiritual exploration and reflection. What I appreciate most is the question, what if? Reverend Summer asks it in the reflection, I think as much for her own practice as one for the reader attending her on her mini journey. And I'll ask it too. What if? What if we had something in Unitarian Universalism that was as intentional, as deeply engaging, and compellingly reflective? What could we as a faith community and as individuals on a journey for truth and meaning, what could we come to look like? How might it change how we see and interact with the world if we too entered whatever doors opened to the divine spirit on a daily basis? Would we even know what it looks like? Can we imagine together what it could be for us? I wonder if Unitarian Universalists could even possibly pick just one thing for all of us to do collectively at the same time to explore this type of practice. Knowing our individuality as I do, I wonder. So instead of picking one thing for all of us to do, I would like to invite you, each of you instead, to pick one thing that rings that soul bell for you, that really engages your heart and mind together. It can be whatever calls to you: meditation, prayer walking, reading, something that you think you can commit to doing intentionally for 1 week. While you do it, I invite you to spend time reflecting on what this practice brings up for you, the places in your heart that are joyful, the pieces in your soul that are tender. Where does this 1 week-long practice lead you? Where do you find yourself bristling in discomfort? Do it every single day, and on the last day, celebrate. Give thanks for the opportunity to get to know that spiritual place of you that sometimes you do not often wonder and explore with. I know it cannot possibly be likened to the depth of holy exploration that Ramadan brings our Muslim siblings, nor can the celebration match the jovial gratitude for the gift of the Quran and the time spent in holy contemplation with the divine. But we can explore something, the possibility of something else more meaningful for us, giving deepest thanks to Islam as a source of faith, as we give grateful acknowledgement to Judaism and Christianity as our sources. Perhaps, too, with such a practice, we can find sustenance and gladness in such a spiritual awakening and such an oasis of our own making. So may it be, and amen.
Thank you, Casey. Your Sunday morning offering is a gift that provides Summit UU Fellowship the financial resources to help build a better world together. The smallest gift is welcome. Oh, it's a video today.
It's a video.
Oh, okay. Who knew?
The video is from Bangladesh. It's written by the song is written by the national poet.
Oh, okay, great. Well, anyway, for those of you on Zoom, the link can be found in the chat box. Please select the Sunday plate option to allocate your donation. Thank you.
প্রেম দিয়ে কর বিশ্ব নিখিল
I was tempted to use a rock and roll version, I found of that, but this was better. What I really liked about that video is that you saw a lot of what I talked about today. You saw the gifts to the children, the celebration, and it felt really important to bring that to you from my uncle's home country. That is like their song. They love Elokushirid. And please join us in mind, body, rising in mind, body, or spirit as you are able to sing our closing hymn 193 in your gray hardback hymnal entitled Our Faith is a Single Gem.
For this one too, just because the tune's easy to sing, but we haven't sung it, at least in a long time. So take a moment to pull the. This is the other hymnal. The Eleanor, it's the gray one, the big one, yeah. And I will play it once all the way through before we sing.
Ministerial Fellowship Committee yesterday, one of the things they asked me was about my own personal spiritual practice. And all I could manage to come up with was, I like hanging out with my dogs and playing with them. And they challenged me before they left to really dig deep, to not think of a spiritual practice as silly, but to find something that really deeply engages my soul. Because if I can't find something that helps engage my soul, there's no way I can help any of you along your journeys either. So just this week, I challenge you to find something joyful, playful, curious, meditative, and intentional. Just do it a little bit every day and see what happens. Amen, shalom, salam, namaste, ashe, and blessed be. Go now in peace. May the light within you be a blessing to the world.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. So Thank you all for being here today. It's always good to see familiar and unfamiliar faces. After our closing circle song, we will have a 5-minute break, and please be seated if you wish to participate in our community gathering. After our community gathering, you are all invited to the salon for refreshments, fellowship, and cake to celebrate the end of all kinds of things and the beginning of new things.
You gonna get the front of the circle going? Here we go. All right.